Mm-hmm. I can totally see that.
And that's just a few of the examples, but romance is one of them. Another is communication. Now, I'll talk about it for singles and I talk about it for couples, but one of the key things in communication is that women need to be heard. When women talk and somebody listens and they feel seen and heard, what happens, their oxytocin levels go up, their stress levels go down. When a woman's under moderate stress, this is the big difference between men and women, one of the big differences. There's 8 times more blood flow in the brain to the emotional part of the brain, 8 times more than a man. And the way that blood flow, and it goes to the emotional memories where it goes, which is twice as big in a woman, and stimulates her memories of all the things that have gone wrong in the past to then protect her from things that could go wrong in the future. What calms down that emotional flow in the brain is if she can talk about the problems with somebody who listens. That's why women want to talk about stress, and men immediately want to jump in there. They don't realize the value of it, and they want to solve the problem. And why do they want to solve the problem? Because for a man in his brain, he has a stress center. It's twice as big as a woman's, and it's wired up to the action part of the brain. So when he detects there's problems, he either has to do something about it, or he decides the problem's not that big, or there's nothing he can do about it, so he's going to forget it. So when a woman's talking, he's usually thinking, not important, or that's important, she should do this, she shouldn't do that, rather than just listening. So, and going through this process, particularly if a woman doesn't, seem appreciative of his comments, and she's not gonna be, then he starts feeling really tired because he's thinking, no matter what I say, it won't help. And so his testosterone levels start to drop. So what can she do? This can be a wife, or this could just be a girlfriend on a date, and she starts talking about problems, and she notices the guy just starting to get tired. It's a huge turnoff to guys, but all she has to do to correct the situation is simply say to him, oh, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything about this. I'm just happy to be able to tell you about this, just to connect with you. It's something that makes me feel better. You don't really have to solve anything. Then a guy goes, okay, then I could just stand here and listen. That sounds good. I'm happy to do that. And then you have to make sure, you have to say, I only need to do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then I feel better. Then what happens is he feels like successful that he's done something for her. See, that's how men grow in their attraction to women, is literally when they feel successful in doing something. Take up the image of the old-fashioned image of a teenage girl asking a boy to carry her books. And he's feeling so proud, I'm carrying her books. Why does he look that way? Testosterone levels are going up. He's doing something for her. That's what men bond with women. She feels cared for. She feels special.
It's so hard now, I think, for, grown-up women that are independent now, that are financially independent, to ask for help. Like, that's a huge...
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And you're not going to be like, and you don't have to, that image is there because women go, but I'm not a little teenage girl, and I can carry my own books, and I can drive my own car, and I can make my own money. Yeah, and you can live alone too. I mean, that's the point. Yeah,
Good point.
It's hard, but you have to find that part of you that really would like to have a man in your life, needs to have a man in your life, but you no longer need a man as a provider. So what do you need a man for? So I wrote all about that. A whole chapter of my book is based upon looking at what your needs are for a man. But in short, you need a man to help you cope with stress. I point out to men often think, well, women don't need us that much anymore. No way. They need you more than ever because women are completely, all this stress levels going up. And the main thing that will lower stress for women is when they get romantic attention or when somebody takes the time to listen and care and understand what she's going through. There's another benefit to men in your life as well, having an emergency man. Just a guy who's hanging around, but if ever there's an emergency, you can rely on him. The problem with that is most men I see, when women say my husband won't help out, I talk to these husbands and all she has to do is ask. But she never asks. She just expects me to do it. And if I tell her, ask me, she says I shouldn't have to ask. This is not the way adult world is. This is where women have to realize that the world works in a different way than they think it should. And we have to accept that. And if you just see that it works differently, it will start to work for you. But it is a challenge. I know this is not difficult for women. But once you understand how men's brains are, you'll realize this is how we're supposed to be. In the workplace, women have no problem asking people to do things. Same thing in relationship. You can ask for romance. You can say to your husband or boyfriend, oh, would you schedule a date this weekend? That's it. You ask him to do it rather than just wait for him to do it and be disappointed. Next thing, and I have a whole art to how to do that. I mean, often women will do it and say, oh, I tried, he won't do it. But I always ask him, what did you say? And it's the wrong way to ask. Like she might say, would you like to go out this weekend? No, I'd rather stay home, he'll say. But if you say, will you take me out this weekend? He'll go, okay, all right. Even if it's like going to a museum, you can even get him to take you there. Most guys would, oh, I'm tired, I don't like to go to museums. Why don't you go with one of your girlfriends? Then you just simply say, I could go with a girlfriend, but it's really nice when you're there. I don't, I feel like really proud I'm in a relationship and I'm not alone. I can share this with you. I know you're not that into it, but I'll love it. And then as he's anticipating going and he's going to do this, by the time he gets you there, he's going to go, I built this museum. He's feeling so proud about it if you're appreciating the experience. But that's the whole key, is to learn the dynamics, how both people can create romance. But it's always women, if they want more in their relationships, they have to get over this hump and learn how to ask gracefully. Same thing with talking. Don't expect them to just suddenly become interested in your day and ask lots of questions. Men just assume if you want to talk, you'll talk. That's how we are. We don't sit around waiting for somebody to ask us, would you, is something going on in your day? If we want to talk, we just talk. Same thing for a woman. If she wants to talk, she can just talk. And there's a problem here. I understand he'll sort of be distracted. So what you say is, would you give me just 5 minutes of your time or 10 minutes? You don't have to say anything, do anything, fix anything. You don't have to feel bad. If I can just share with you what's going on in my day, I feel so much more connected to you. Or I just feel the stress lift off my shoulders because I'm not carrying it all by myself. Men will do this if you learn how to approach them correctly.
So you think everything can be fixed through communication, through
Well,
talking and listening?
When people want to make a relationship work, but when you want to change your partner, it doesn't work at all. And that's a whole attitude shift. That's why my book is so important. It's oftentimes I even hesitate to give some of these specific techniques because little techniques don't work if you don't have the right attitude with it. The attitude needs to be, go back and remember, men and women, how you felt about your partner in the beginning of the relationship. That openness to embrace your partner as they are. We need to accept differences, work with differences, rather than sort of point the finger and think you shouldn't be that way.